Alright, hey guys, what's going on? Needs more drums back in our City Skylines 2 city, and since the last episode, I have done a little bit of work behind the scenes. I installed a water pump because it is cheaper and more in tune with our demand than the actual water pumping station for the groundwater. I adjusted a few of the service costs to see if that would improve the budget, and I even built a residential neighborhood kind of off to the side. But despite all this, the city is still hemorrhaging money. So let's try to change that today and see if we can finally fix the budget. So let's go ahead and jump right in. All right, so here we are. As you can see, the financial situation is very, very grim, and we are just not even close to turning a profit here. But before we jump into that, the first thing I actually want to do is name the city. So thank you so much to everyone who commented, but I decided to go with this name of Grand Keys. So that is actually what I want to name the city itself. So if we make maybe a little bit later, we'll actually make a district, some districts, but this I want to be Grand Keys. And the name for the map, I think we'll just do something like that, like just a nice name for the region. Melody Bay, it's musical, it's nice, but I do like the name Grand Keys. It does sort of reflect a grand piano, how it has this nice curvature around here. And yeah, I think it's very fitting with what I wanted to do. And so this whole city will be Grand Keys. We'll slowly chip away at some districts a little bit later, you know, if we are able to fix the budget, and we can name, you know, downtown Grand Keys and have some of these surrounding neighborhoods with their own distinct names relating to that. So thank you everyone again who commented, and keep those suggestions coming because we have plenty more areas to name throughout the series. We are just getting started. So yeah, keep them coming. All right, guys, now that we got the name out of the way, we can get into the main part of today's episode, which is the budget. So again, you can see we are very much in the red. Our expenses far exceed our revenues by a pretty significant margin of about $100,000. So this is not great at all. But I have what I believe to be a 3-step plan to fixing the city budget. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to take out a loan. We're going to expand the city. We're going to purchase some tiles and expand the city footprint. And then we're going to lower taxes. And so the reason that I think this is going to help is because you can see we have no demand for jobs, but I was looking and we have a 63% unemployment rate. So this tells me that people don't want to come into the city because taxes are high. They don't want to live here. Businesses don't want to come into the city because taxes are high and they don't want to pay them. So what we end up having is a lot of people that were in the city from the start and have since not been able to find a place to work. So there's no money coming in from any kind of, you know, sales of goods or services because there's no companies. And then we're not seeing any of those, you know, any of those sales, and, you know, we have no companies to pay taxes. So I think that's going to be the way to get around this. And I did a little bit of research, you know, kind of online and everything in the background. And it seems that taxes are actually a pretty big factor in affecting the city demand in your budget. And people say that if you keep your taxes low enough, at least your residential, then people will want to move in, and then the companies will want to move in because there's a lot of opportunities for people to work, but also the company taxes need to be reasonable as well, you know. So right now, as you can see, mine are super high. 20% taxes for offices is just not going to do it. I think we're going to be better off cutting each of these to about, well, actually all of these, commercial, industrial, and office, to about 10%. And then we're going to drop residential to about like 2% and see if that helps. But so that should get people moving into the city, get people to work, and really just combating this unemployment rate is going to be, I think, what is going to, you know, make or break the city, because this is ridiculous. And I know part of this had to do with the homeless bug, but that has since been fixed in the most recent patch. It's been so long since I've played this game that the new patch has come out that actually fixed, or has claimed to have fixed, the homeless bug. So we'll see if all that's working. I've still heard there's some weird issues with it, outstanding issues, but I don't know how bad the homeless problem was in my city to begin with. So we're just going to see if some of these things work, and at the very least, I think we're going to make some improvements today. So let's go ahead and do the first of these 3 steps, which is taking out a loan. And I hate loans. I think that you should never take them out unless you absolutely have to, which in this case, we're fixing some past mistakes, some bad decisions. So we're going to take out a pretty hefty loan, and I think we're going to go for, I don't want to pay anything over 10%. So I think we're going to go at about $400,000. And the reason that I think that's a fair amount is because we're still below 10% of an interest rate. And if we look at some of these city tiles, I want to purchase this one and probably this one, because here I think we can have a lot of room for industry, and then here we can have a lot of room for residential. So I do want to expand some of these zones out. We're kind of getting cramped for space in some of these areas, so I think it would be great to have these two options. But we're going to start with just an industrial tile because I think we need to create some more jobs and combat this unemployment. So let's take out this loan. Let's go ahead and purchase this tile. And finally, let's adjust our tax rate. So I want to bring this down. We're actually going to bring down... I still want to kind of give a little bit of a subsidy to our higher education since we don't actually have any of the relevant city services for that yet. So we're going to drop these down to about we'll do 3% for everybody else. And then we're going to drop these down to about 10. And I know this is such a huge tax cut and we're just completely depleting all of our profits. But I think this is really going to help change the course of the city once we get more companies in here and really reduce this unemployment rate. So with this money, let's go ahead and just expand this road here and maybe connect to this highway in the near future. But we're going to do a cheap connection for now because I don't want to spend a ton of money. But then we're going to zone out some industry. We're going to mess with this land a little bit, make this a little bit more industry friendly here. Give us a little bit of like a coastline, and then we're actually just going to press play and see if we get some more demand, because the one thing that I don't want to do is keep building this high rent housing. And the reason I think so, this is kind of another effect of the homeless problem, is that any homeless citizens will just want to go straight for high rent housing or low rent housing because it's very cheap and you can build a lot of it and house a lot of people. But I kind of want to stay away from this as soon as I can because it will lead to a few more problems later that I don't really want to get into at the moment. So I think we're going to try to hold out and see if we get some medium density demand, and then we can zone out some of these areas here and kind of fill these with some homes. So let's go ahead and just press play, and we're really just going to see what happens because I'm a little bit nervous about what's going to go on, but let's see if the demand changes. Talk to you guys in a bit. All right, so already we're getting a demand for low density residential, and unemployment is dropping somehow, even though we have like no jobs. Very interesting. Okay, well, that is a good sign nonetheless. So I think I'm gonna put some residential zones around in this area anyway. I think that might be a good opportunity to do that now in the hopes that some people will move into the city. Let's just go ahead and I'm hesitant to do that though, because I don't want to oversaturate the town with residential when we really need jobs. And actually, you know what I might do? I'm gonna keep these here. I'm gonna keep taxes as is. And we're going to see if the demand for those is going to pop up just a little bit. But I might go ahead and zone out some residential zones just to bring some people into the city, and that may entice people to come in. So let's just experiment and kind of see if any of this is going to work at all. right, you can see if I pause here again, we are getting some industrial demand now, which is fantastic. And our unemployment rate is still dropping a bit, but I think I want to go ahead and zone out some industry here since they're going to bring in some higher taxes for us. And yeah, they're bringing in 100 grand already. I think if we zone some more, then we'll be, you know, slowly entering our way to bigger and better things. So I want to keep the industry coming in. I want to keep some medium density coming in, especially along like this main road here. This is going to be a pretty dense residential area, I'm guessing, especially this spot right here. We'll probably go through and build some roads and some alleyways here and kind of have this be a little neighborhood over here. Let's go ahead and zone out some industry in this area, and then we'll zone out some residential in this area, and then I will check back in with you guys in a little bit. All right, guys, so check it out. We are getting a lot better here. So we have a 2.7% unemployment rate, down from like 60%, which I would say is a massive improvement. We have demand for all of our zones except for commercial, which commercial in this game never seems to have a lot of demand, to be honest, which is a little bit weird. But then our budget is already doing better. Just, I mean, we have a $100,000 gap, but keep in mind this is after a loan. This is, you know, after dropping the taxes. So if we just keep this up, the rate at which we're losing money is going to decrease. So I think right now what I'm going to do is, I see we have some problems with healthcare a little bit, which I know that the healthcare system is drastically overrun, but that is a problem for another time, sadly. For now, though, I think what we're going to do is we're going to zone out some more residential. We're going to zone out some residential along here, like kind of make a little bit of a main street here. And then we're also going to convert probably this area into a residential area. This I'm kind of saving for like a cool little park. So I'm going to hold off on doing anything here for right now. But right here, I do want to make a residential block. So we're going to just zone out some of these empty areas and then see what happens here in terms of the budget, but hopefully that'll bring in some more people. And then once we get some more people, we can zone out some more industry and some more jobs, and the cycle begins. So let's just keep working and see what happens. All right, so unemployment is kind of creeping back up again, and I'm curious as to kind of where to go from here. So I think I want to save this area for our cargo train station, which is why I'm not building anything right in this spot right here. I want to save this area for like a water treatment plant maybe in the future, since we already have the sewage outlet here. I figured that might make sense to put one, kind of in the same area. But then this I want to save for the train station. This I want to save for... I'm not really sure what I want to do here yet. This might be another small industrial area as well, to be honest with you. This might be another good spot to kind of have some development going on. But also, like, I feel like we're going to push these farms out a little bit. And this industrial area is not going to stay. Yeah, the next big industrial area I want to put over here. But that's going to take a little bit of money. I'll pause it right now because we're still losing money. But it's going to take a little bit of money to be able to afford the tiles all the way out this way. So I'm wondering if we kind of start by having, this tile here. And then we can kind of have some industry over here and then eventually kind of start to push it over this way as, like the jobs, as the city grows. And then we can kind of slowly convert this to some residential. Because here I envision like a big port. Something like we have a lot of land here, a lot of waterfront property. We could do something really cool. And there's a lot of good flat terrain for industry building right here. We can have some pretty good, maybe even some specialized industry storage facilities and, factories and stuff like that. So I'd like to keep that in mind for this part. But this part I kind of like, being on the coast. And not to mention the, if you look at, yeah, because the wind still kind of blows this way. So it would just go out over to the water, as opposed to, over here, it starts to get a little bit more closer, directly in the path of the city. So same with these, like this is a great spot for the industry because it just goes straight over the water like that. So I'm really happy that we ended up building this here today. But yeah, I think I'll hold off a little bit. Actually, I don't know, because we do need some more industrial zones, like now, because our I don't want our unemployment to creep up too bad. And I know we could zone some offices and stuff too, but I kind of don't really want any of that, over here. I'm thinking maybe along the main strip here we can have a few. Yeah, eventually, like, all this is going to be residential. I'm just kind of waiting, to afford some more tiles, which I think we kind of have the money to buy just one more. And I'm thinking it's going to be this one, so that we can actually start to expand out this way. You know what? I might go ahead and do that right now. Because why not? We do have the money for it, and it's only gonna, I mean, we are getting close to breaking even here. So if we just purchase one more tile and just make this upfront investment, I think that we can actually expand the city out this way enough to be able to cover the upkeep cost of that tile, especially if we're going to be using industry to do that. That's our big money maker at the moment, because I mean, just look at the taxes. Look at, we're making $227,000 from our industrial zones. We're just making, yeah, we're making good money from that. So you know what? We're going to do it. Cost is only 66 grand, 30 grand a month. Yeah, we're going to do it. So I know that, yeah, that really is not that bad. That really is not bad. I think we're going to make that up if we even just put some industry, like just a little bit right here, just kind of at this edge. Maybe even right here a little bit too, because we have this train track going here, and you figure this probably would have been pretty heavily industrial back in the earlier stages of the city before it gets pushed out by some residential. What I want to do here is connect this avenue. I want to bring this kind of over here and then bring it out this way so it could be sort of a main road for us. And this is going to eventually be like a highway. So we're going to upgrade this in the future, which is why I'm kind of leaving it a little space around here right now. And this is like one of those rural roads. So yeah, I think this is going to be a good transition point here. And you know what? Before we run out of money, I may do just this so that we can actually divert some traffic from, you know, this road, with this being the current like main road through here right now. I don't want that to, you know, remain that way. So I want to bring this avenue out like this. There we go. I have this nice avenue that's going to cut through here, and this will all be zoned up eventually as well. And now what we can do is we can actually have this road turn into what's going to be the main road for this next part of the city here. So we're just gonna do that right now, because, you know, why not? So now, as you can already see, this farmland is pretty much like ready to be replaced with this little bit of urbanization here, and we're not going to get to that right now. But yeah, I think this is going to be a good spot for a little industrial area. This is going to be a good spot for a little residential area. We're gonna make some really cool strides with the city, I think. And you know what? The budget isn't perfect, but it's way better than it was, and I think that we know where to go from here. So I think I'm going to go ahead and actually just call it an episode for today. We've done a lot of work in terms of you know, expanding out this industry, zoning up some residential. You can see all of these streets are a little bit more populated. This whole area is a little bit more populated. This I'm actually going to leave as like a little park, and this I'm probably going to leave. Well, this I'm going to leave mainly as a pretty big park, but this I might do something nifty here in the future. I don't really want to develop this right at this very second. Actually, you know what? Let's get that back. I think I might develop this, since this is going to be a big park. There's no reason not to develop this area right here. So we're just gonna play real quick, zone out some additional row housing, do a medium density building there as well, or row house to line it up. There we go. And then this will do a little bit of green space along this main road, because, you know, why not? But, you know, we got some weird looking intersections here. We could revisit this and see how this is going to turn into a different, you know, we can manage this a bit, since we don't have traffic coming like from every direction. Maybe we can do some one-way roads and everything here to make it flow a little better. But that will come in due time. For now, I'm going to pause the game, and I'm going to go ahead and call it an episode for today. So in the next episode, we'll work on this area, expanding this out, expanding out this industry over here, some residential, and then eventually trying to slowly develop parts of the city and redevelop parts of the city as we start to get a little bit more funding. So stay tuned. I'm really excited for the next steps in this city. It's finally coming together, and I'm really happy that we were able to end in a way better place than we started in terms of the budget, and at least we know at this point how to fix it, and our unemployment rate is looking good. Way better than 60, so 7.8, I will take that any day of the week. So thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you all have a great week, and sorry for the lack of videos. I've just been so busy with work, got a lot of cases due. I've been out of town the past few weekends, so just bear with me here, but slowly but surely, we're gonna make something really cool in the city. So thanks again for watching. Have a great week, and I will talk to you guys in the next video. See ya.